Hey, I got a quick question for you. Can you lift your arm all the way overhead in a way that's pain-free? Well, if not, I'm gonna show you the 3 reasons what's stopping you from being able to do this and how to fix it. Hey there, my name's Coach Tyler from WeShape, where our goal is to help you feel better in your body. And you have no idea how many people I've talked to that can't take their arm and lift it overhead in a way that's pain-free. For a lot of people, it hurts inside their shoulder, their neck, their upper back. And today, I'm gonna show you 3 reasons why this is happening and how to fix it. Now, what are those reasons? Those reasons are because you are using the wrong muscles to lift your arm overhead. The next reason is that you have tight tissues that are preventing you from bringing your arm all the way overhead. And the third reason is that you have messed up movement. So let's dive right into the first one, and I'm gonna show you how to fix it. Okay, the first thing that's preventing you from bringing your arm all the way overhead pain-free is that you're probably using the wrong muscles to lift your arm. Let me explain, okay? When you lift your arm overhead like this, the muscles that you use are pulling on the bones. So the muscles are pulling on the bones to lift it up like this. Now there's a couple sets of muscles though. There's the muscles on the sides of your shoulders that are supposed to lift your arm overhead. Then there's the muscles of your traps and your neck that are not supposed to be the primary movers that are lifting your arm over your head. You can think about it like this. The short muscles of your shoulder, they're right here, and they lift the arm in a way that's pain-free. The muscles of the neck and the traps, they're way up here, and they're doing this work that they're not supposed to be doing. So they're doing way too much work, which is causing this pain in the upper back and the neck region. So how do we learn to lift our arm overhead using the right muscles? Well, we practice, and I'll show you how to do this, okay? So what you're gonna do is stand nice and tall, and the first thing you do is, without thinking, lift your arm overhead. And if you notice this, if you notice your shoulder shrugging up like this, and your neck possibly kinking to the side, then you already know that you're using the wrong muscles. You're using the muscles of the neck and the trap to lift your arm overhead. So instead, try this. Drive your fingertips toward the ground, keep your thumb facing toward the sky as you bring your arm up in front of you. And as you lift your arm up, take note of where your shoulder is. So I'm gonna keep my shoulder down. So fingers down, keep the shoulder down. Slowly lift the arm up. You're using the shoulder muscles now, you can actually feel them. You're not using the neck muscles now, you can feel them relaxed, right? As you come up, there will be a point where you start to go like this, whoop, with your shoulder. At that point, I want you to pause. Instead of going any further, stop, bring the shoulder down. Remember to bring that shoulder down every time, and then slowly come up until you notice the shoulder start to go up again, and then pause, bring the shoulder down, and then start to go up again until you notice the shoulder start to shrug, pause, bring the shoulder down, and just repeat that process, okay? Because what you're gonna build is a better habit. Right now, your habit is lift with my neck and my traps. And now we're gonna build a habit of stabilize the shoulder and lift with the muscles of the shoulder in a way that actually feels good. Now, one more point here is that the reason why your shoulder is shrugging up and you're using your neck is often because you don't have access to the muscles right here, your lats and your serratus, which keep your shoulder back and down. So before you even lift your arm overhead, try practice dropping your fingers towards the ground and feel the muscles inside your armpit. So feel the muscles right here under the armpit, feel the muscles kind of here in your ribs, and you should feel those muscles working as you start to bring your arm overhead. And eventually, you should be able to squeeze those muscles, firing them tight, keeping the shoulder back and down in the right position as you bring your arm all the way overhead. Now, correcting this first mistake is the first place I always start with people, because most people are using the wrong muscles. So if that's you, make sure to come back, practice this every day until you're able to lift your arm overhead while keeping your shoulder down and activating the muscles underneath your armpits to stabilize your shoulder. When you do, it's gonna make that shoulder feel a whole lot better. Now, that's not the only thing that's gonna prevent you from lifting your arm all the way overhead pain-free. The next thing is tight tissues. Okay, it probably comes as no surprise that if you can't put your arm overhead in a way that's pain-free, that you have tight tissues, tight muscles, tight fascia that you need to stretch, okay? So I'm gonna show you 2 variations of my favorite stretch to open up the chest, open up the shoulders, and open up all the muscles underneath your armpits. They're gonna help you stretch yourself so that you can create more looseness in those tissues and be able to put that arm overhead in a way that feels good, is pain-free, and you have full range of motion, okay? The first one is going to be a little bit harder, and the next one's gonna be more of a beginner variation that might give you a better stretch. So try each one and see which one works better, okay? The first one is on the back of a chair. grab on with your hands, walk your feet back as far as you can until your arms are almost fully straight, okay? From there, you're going to imagine that there's a weight tied around your chest, and that weight is going to be pulling you down to the ground, okay? So that weight is going to be pulling you down. You're going to push your hands down into the chair. So you're creating a little bit of tension in the muscles underneath your armpits. Push them hands down on the chair, hold for a second, squeeze those muscles, and then as you breathe in and exhale, imagine that weight coming down from your sternum is pulling you down. So, and you're opening up all these muscles along your sides, through your armpits, and all the way through your shoulders as well. Now repeat this process 3 to 5 times. So you're pushing your hands down into the chair, creating some tension inside your lats. It's okay to have a soft bend of the knees too. And then big breath in. Relax everything, relax the tension. Imagine that string is pulling your chest down towards the ground. So again, doing this anywhere from 3 to 5 times where you're squeezing those muscles and then relaxing is going to be really helpful to loosening up those muscles. It should take about 60 seconds to get this done. Now, if this is too much for you, you don't have flexible enough hamstrings to get in that position, then all you have to do is come down to a kneeling position. Make sure you're kneeling on something that's comfortable. It shouldn't be on super hard surface, a pillow if you're on tile, or if just on a carpet or a rolled up towel, something like that. Grab onto that same chair and do the same exact thing, only from a kneeling position, okay? So you're gonna bring your chest towards the ground, push your hands into the chair as much as you can, take that big breath in, and then as you exhale, imagine your chest is pulling you down like this. This might give you a better stretch. If it does, then this is the stretch for you rather than the other one, okay? Just like the first stretch, you can repeat this 3 to 5 times. And again, it should take about 60 seconds. Do this every single day if you have those tight tissues, and it's going to slowly elongate the muscles and the fascia underneath your arms, which is going to remove the restrictions that you currently have from being able to put that arm overhead in a way that's pain-free. Now, there's one more thing that's incredibly important for you to correct, and that is your messed up movement. Okay, the final piece of the puzzle in getting your arm overhead pain-free is correcting your messed up movement. Now, what do I mean by that? The number one thing, even more than tight tissues and using the wrong muscles, is this messed up movement of internal rotation of the shoulder as you bring your arm overhead. Let me show you what I mean by that. If I bring my arm overhead and I turn my thumb towards the ground as I'm bringing my arm overhead, well, it's going to force me to use the wrong muscles. It's going to rely on less flexibility from here, and the shoulder joint's going to impinge, causing pain. In fact, even if you don't have shoulder pain, I'll bet you can turn your thumb towards the ground, lift your arm overhead, and that pain might happen right now. Now, here's why. Inside the shoulder, if I internally rotate the bones like this, as I go up, boom, I'm impinging this joint right here on the collarbone, right? But if I externally rotate, turning my palm outward as I lift my arm overhead, you'll be able to get that arm overhead all the way, and these bones won't impinge, okay? So how do we practice this? Very simple. We start just like we did before, where we drive our fingertips toward the ground. As you lift your arm overhead, what you'll notice is your elbow wanting to lead the motion. You're wanting to turn your palm and your thumb towards the ground. This is where we're gonna fight it. So instead, fingertips toward the ground, and as we lift the arm overhead, I want you to turn your elbow pit and your palm, if you need to, towards the sky. Now slowly lift the arm overhead, keeping that external rotation. And what you'll feel is a lot more activation of these muscles, and you might even be able to have significantly more range of motion in a way that's pain-free than you did before. The one thing to watch out for when you're practicing not doing internal rotation, but rather external rotation, is that you don't fall apart and start shrugging your shoulders again as you do this movement. So you have to combine having the wrong muscles with having good movement at the same time. So one more time, just to make sure that you fully get it, fingertips toward the ground, feel those lat muscles, palm towards the sky, thumb towards the sky, elbow pit towards the sky. Slowly come up, watch your shoulder, make sure it stays down. If it shrugs up, pause, bring it back down, and keep going, okay? Until you get that full range of motion. All right, there you have it. What do you think about that, Skelly? Well, make sure you come back to this video over and over again to practice these 3 things. When you do, you're going to correct your movement, you're going to create the flexibility, and you're going to use the right muscles that are going to make you feel better in your body. Oh, and by the way, if you like the way that we teach you how to move your body better so you feel better in your body, well, then you'll love what we do at WeShape. So click the link below and check us out, okay?